Hello everyone, it is Sunday night and we are coming to you live from inside of Bat City Comic Professionals in Bradenton, Florida to help you wind down your weekend with this week's latest and greatest in indie and small press comics. As always, I'm your host Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here to get you really excited about a bunch of books, except this week it's really more like a dozen books. But it's okay because they're all so great and you're going to want to add them all to your list of books to pick up the next time you stop by your local comic shop. As always, if we're going to wind down our weekend, we have to have some wine to kick it off. So this week we are drinking a new Tempranillo, which if you watch the show you know is my favorite. This is Vina Amate. It is a Rioja, it's a Tempranillo. It's supposed to be very smooth and elegant, and it's best served with meat and cheese, which is, of course, what I'm going to eat it with after the show immediately. But I'm really excited. Again, these are usually spicier, like pepperier wines that have little sweetness to them at all, so I'm happy already. It smells like I expect the Tempranillo to smell. That is smooth and elegant, just like they said. That's honestly just very smooth, and then it's got that peppery, like a little bit of peppery taste to it. I mean, really, for a Tempranillo, it's a lot of pepper for a normal wine, but a little bit. But it's almost a little bit plummier.
And almost like water, like crisp, clean water.
It's very much has that's like the texture of it is almost more like a water than a thick, like you don't feel like you just swallowed a grape. You feel like actually when you take a bite of a grape and you get that crisp sensation of the grape like at the beginning, you almost get that out of it more than like the thickness of the skin of the grape. It's really good. I can't wait. This is going to continue to be best. You probably will only get to see me take one more drink of this because, like I said, there's only about a dozen books this week, so you might not get to see a lot. So mark it down now. Vina Amate Rioja Tempranillo. It's a Spanish wine. Very, very smooth, very delicious in flavor. Again, very plummy, but also like not the thickness of a plum, but more of that crisp, watery taste that you get. I'm excited to drink this throughout the night, but again, most of it will probably not be on this show. We had a big, busy week at Bat City this last week. I can almost not even remember what all we did, but we did have book club. We had our Fresh Start book club, which we only read the first title of a series that's been going for a while. This last week, we read the first issue of the first volume of I Hate Fairyland, which was really fun to have a great conversation around, Scotty Young's art style, around Scotty Young as a writer versus an artist, about the ridiculousness of Gert and everywhere that book kind of takes us. There's a couple of us who have read the whole thing, a couple who were so excited that they kept going, and some people who, they were like, this little taste is as crazy, I can't wait. There were some people who were like, I don't know if I could do 5 years of this series because it's so much with Gert going crazy, but it's so much fun. If you have not read it yet, definitely give I Hate Fairyland a chance. You've got literally, again, like 6 volumes or something, but remember, if you grab that new one, you're actually needing to go back to volume 1, number 1 to start. We also had the fantastic, amazing time at Imagine Comic Con yesterday at Imagine School North Manatee. Shout out to the amazing, incredible Jason Wall, who is just such a fantastic educator and puts on such a huge Comic-Con for our school. It really took over the whole school yesterday, and we had an awesome time. We had a huge vendor hall with some of our buddies like Gary Barker and Ringling, our friends from over at Darkside, brought some games and cards and plushies. Our buddy Tim Von Clote was there. Our buddy Patrick was there. Oh my gosh, which you're going to get to see Patrick at Free Comic Book Day. So that's a spoiler alert. Patrick will be here selling his art on Free Comic Book Day. Can't back out, Patrick, because I totally already made the announcement. So, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Or we had a lot of fun there. We also got to do our annual workshop that we do, our comic creation workshop that we do with the group. And this year we had 88 people attend, which was like pretty much everybody at the con at that moment in time came out for the comic creation workshop, which was really, really cool. And it was awesome because I got to have a wonderful co-host to do and after you've made your comic, what would you do, and that was the one and only Dan DiDio. So it was really cool to have Dan come in and participate in the workshop and then talk to all of the kids and their parents about, if you've made a comic, what do you do? Like, how do you edit it? How do you take it to a publisher? How do you get past writer's block and keep going on this series? Like, we answered so many great questions. And so a huge shout out to Dan for being a part of that, and for hanging out with me and my awesome sidekick, Noah Stanley, who helped make that workshop possible yesterday. Shout out to Noah, who is our longest running Bat City art student and writing student. Noah, who is such a fantastic creative mind, helped us with that workshop as well. So shout out to Noah and to Dan for a great time. And again, shout out to Jason for having us in, letting Santiago run trivia. It was a wild, fun time all day long at Imagine School. Thank you for everybody who came out and supported. That funding does go back to the school, so for all the admission tickets that were bought for going to that. So thank you for supporting that school. There's lots of opportunities to support local schools and local artists coming up in the next few weeks. But this weekend at Bat City, April 19th, is Academic Avengers. It is also Superman Day. So we are supersizing Academic Avengers this year for Superman Day. So there's going to be some free Superman comics. There's going to be a Superman photo op that you're going to be able to take and put yourself back into that great moment in time when Superman first appeared. There's going to be all the Academic Avengers games that you're used to, but there are going to be 2 new games that if you haven't done Academic Avengers at a library, you haven't had a chance to play yet because we haven't brought them to Bat City yet. There's also going to be 2 new crafts that you're going to have the opportunity to do. And so it is going to be super sized Academic Avengers. It's 100% free. It's from 12 to 4 on Saturday. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be some snacks. There's going to be some water. So you can come and stay all day and participate in everything. Win some fun activity, like prizes, participate in some fun crafts. It's going to be a great day. We will be closed the next day, Easter Sunday. We will be closed. So don't come out then. Bring the whole family on Saturday so you can celebrate with us then. And then, of course, don't forget, May 3rd is Free Comic Book Day. You're not going to want to miss that. There's a lot of activities before and after that are happening here at Bad City, but that's the one you want to put on your calendar because there's going to be a lot of creators that you can meet. We're bringing Bat City creators, people who are a part of our creative meetups, who have been growing and developing even more and more art and things that they want to share with you over the last year or so. And so we're really excited to give them this opportunity to showcase their art and for us to be a part of showcasing them. And so May 3rd, put that on your calendar. That's going to start at 11 a.m. You're going to want to get here and line up probably way before that. There's going to be free hot dogs provided by the Good News Grillers while supplies last. It's going to be awesome. And of course, you're going to be able to grab one of each comic you want to check out. And so you're going to have to come. And I'm sure there's going to be a giant sale that we'll tell you about in the next couple of days, probably. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm going to take another drink of my wine before we get started because, again, I don't have very many comics, so I'm really just stalling for time right now to make you feel like you're here. Give you some time to join before I talk about all the comics. All right. Oh, and lastly, before I talk about comics, we got new stickers. As you know, Bad City does a new sticker about every month or so. This one is designed by another one of our awesome art kids, Callie. Callie came in and brought this design to us and said, can this be a sticker? And we were like, heck yes, it can. And here it is. So you can pick these up for free at Bat City while supplies last. Callie, we've got some for you. So when next time you're in, we'll give you some too. All right. We are going to talk about some comics now. So first up, we have Transformers issue 19 from Image and the Skybound imprint in the Energon universe. So this is your Transformers G.I. Joe crossover world. And I've had a lot of people over the last 18 issues, 17 and a half, go, this is really cool that we've got all these Transformers, but where is Megatron? He's not really a part of this at all. And if you've been waiting for that moment, guess what? Daniel Warren Johnson definitely delivered by giving you an entire Megatron issue. So this is actually kind of dealing with how he became that ultimate bad guy. It's almost like an origin story for him. Like, how did you go from being so a part of helping your people to becoming somebody who just wants all this energon for himself and just likes destroying people. And we get to see that in this issue. And so if you've been looking for it and waiting for it, here's your Megatron moment. Honestly and truthfully, if you just want a really cool Megatron issue and you haven't read Transformers yet, this stands alone. You can pick this up and read it and just have a fun Megatron, like I said, new kind of origin story, and then find out if that makes you want to read the rest of Transformers or not. The answer is, again, spoiler alert, you do, because it's been great. But grab that and have a mega moment. We've got Geiger issue 13 from Image Comics and the Ghost Machine imprint. This has been so fantastically fun. Jeff Johns is really building out this universe even bigger. And so if you don't know the Geiger world yet, basically it's post-apocalyptic, and there is a man named Tyreek Geiger who is radioactive, as you see on the page that I've had in front of you. And he's been trying to kind of atone for the sins of allowing his family to die when, the nuclear holocaust happened. And so he has been just kind of going across the world, trying to find a cure, trying to get himself out of this devastating experience of being radioactive. And he has been hearing that there is a man who has figured it out, only to find out that it is in fact not a man, but a woman who is also a glowing person who has figured out how to control her radiation. And her name is Ashley Arden. And we as readers know more than Tariq does, because what Geiger doesn't know is going to hurt him, because he firmly believes that she is here to help him. But we are kind of seeing that there is some mixed messaging here, and that she may actually be looking to use Geiger for all of the wrong reasons, and she may not be the saint that she's painted out to be. I really think it's really cool that Jeff Johns always also puts a lot of thought into the names. Like Tariq Geiger has very much the connotations of being like a radioactive man in this post-apocalyptic setting. And both the name Ashley and the name Arden are both references to gardens and these things, and specifically Arden being a reference to the Garden of Eden. And so it's like she's built as this like sanctuary for him to come to, and then maybe she's the most evil thing in the book in the end. We're gonna find out. I don't know, but I love that Jeff puts all that thought into those things. We've got the return of Phantom Road with issue 11 from Image Comics. I have been waiting for this to come back, because Jeff Lemire has been building this world in this that makes absolutely no sense, and I've been waiting to see if we were going to make sense of it all, and then he just left us on this massive cliffhanger for like a year. Well, we're back, and we're going to learn some new things because we're following a new person. But basically, Phantom Road is the story of this mysterious truck stop that leads to essentially parallel dimensions and the murders and the mysterious things that happen along it. And we've been following somebody who's kind of been trapped into that over as a truck driver and kind of sucked into whatever mysterious thing is happening here. Well, now we are actually following the Horror Men, which are two FBI agents who are actually investigating the stuff that's been happening on there. One of them has been investigating this for years. The other one is being brought onto the case right now. And so what's great about that for us as readers is that means that the world is getting explained to him, which means we are finally getting an explanation of much of that world ourselves. And so we're finally kind of piecing together some of the stuff that's been happening, but that weird stuff just keeps looming in the distance, and it's going to come back and haunt us, most definitely. If you haven't picked it up yet, you definitely need to start at the beginning, and you should add this to your read list for sure. The Moon is Following Us, issue 8 from Image Comics, and also Daniel Warren Johnson, who's bringing us Transformers right now. So if you're loving Transformers, you should check this out for sure. If you are a fan of Daniel Warren Johnson's Do a Powerbomb, I think you should also check this out, because it's another one of those like weird worlds Daniel's creating that's full of family, beautiful storytelling and drama. But this is all about a mother and father whose child has gone into a coma and is now kind of trapped in that. And they've been told by a man that they can help lead them to their child, like inside of their mind, and bring them back into our world and kind of wake them up. Well, they were very much double-crossed very early on in the series. And so now this mother and dad are stuck in the child's mind, and they've got limited amount of time to figure out how they can get to her and save her before her entire essence is kind of transferred over to someone else. And they are doing that by teaming up with their child's nightmares and trying to go against all of what should be the good people in her daughter's brain, their daughter's brain, helping them. And it's just really cool to see all of the ways that a kid's imagination can impact them, and what that actually looks like inside, but also to see these two parents struggling to work together when they're kind of falling apart is very interesting family dynamic to see. And there's some big moments in this as we are coming to the end of that series in the next couple of issues. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Night Watcher, issue 7 from IDW. This is the wrap-up of Night Watcher, which has been a what is going on with Jenica story as we've come into the new falling out of what happened after Sophie Campbell's extremely long and amazing run on Ninja Turtles. And so Jenica has kind of lost sight of herself, and yet, you know, in what she thinks is the best way. She's become a vigilante without the turtles, kind of doing, like, being the one to take on, like, the seedy underbelly of the world. And yet she's lost everything she had for herself. Like, her partner has left her. She doesn't really have any allies in the community other than, you know, certain people that she's helping. And she tries to bring on somebody else and train them, but she's not the person to train. You know, it's kind of like when you see Wolverine trying to train the younger kids in the X-Men, and he's like the one that's rage-induced. And she gets that lesson in return from her trainee in this issue. And it's like, they're like, I don't want to be this, and I don't want to be you, and I don't think you really want to be you. And Jenica has to come to terms with that actual reality and figure out if she's going to walk away and actually give herself a chance to do the right thing in the right way and maybe repair some of those relationships, or is she just going to lose it all. And it's really cool to see the way Jenica kind of pieces that out for herself as we get to the end of this issue. Red Before Black, issue 5 from Boom Studios. Another one we've had quite a bit of a wait on, but that is not on the story, but actually on just some distribution issues for it. So I'm glad we've got it here in our hands now. If you haven't read Red Before Black yet, it is about a woman who got herself in a lot of trouble with the law and was put into jail. And when she gets out, basically it is on the grounds that she will turn stateside evidence against the drug dealers and the people that she was working for before. And so she goes to actually do that. And the way she has to earn her keep to get back into that gang, essentially, is by hunting down somebody who stole a lot of money from them. Well, it turns out she doesn't want to hurt that person, and she doesn't want to take the money back from them, and she doesn't want any of those problems because, again, she is just kind of doing it for the freedom from jail. And so they end up on this wild chase, her and the person that stole the money, very Thelma and Louise, with like this weird, they are actually in trouble with both the law and other gang members kind of situation. And now they've been captured by both sides, essentially, have hunted them down. And this is the moment where they have to kind of figure out, like, are they going to stick together? Are they going to turn on each other? And what side are they really playing for? And we're going to see how that rolls out. There's also this weird, mysterious, like, magical twist to this book that has still yet to be explained, and I'm really hoping we get to see where that goes in the next issue as more and more of it kind of becomes comes to light in the story. We've got Theme of Thieves, issue 4 from our friends at Comicsburg. This is the issue that, again, kind of gives us a lot more of what's happening in the story. If you haven't read it yet, basically, there's a lot of big moments going on, but there is essentially a thing that is called the evanescence, and it causes people to disappear, and we don't really know what is happening with them. But there's also this man who can time travel and seems to kind of appear when a lot of this happens. Our main character is a teenage girl whose mom was lost in an evanescence situation, and she's been kind of like really on edge ever since then, and she was dealing with some stuff with this boy from her high school, and there's a whole big situation in the last book that was very, very, like, heavy situation that's like, you know, trigger warnings on that issue for sure. We talked about that on the episode. But the man that can travel through time kind of saved her indirectly. And in this one, we're dealing with the fallout of that because he's like, I've never been able to teleport somebody else through time. I don't know how you're here. I don't know where here is. I don't know what's going on. We need to kind of figure this out. And she's like, did the boy that was with us, did Jason end up back in time too? And he's like, I have no idea. I didn't know people could go through time. And so they think they're kind of like safe in this forest situation, except for the fact that they are actually at the time of the Salem witch trials. And of course, neither of them are the kind of people who wouldn't be accused of being witches. But we actually find out that there may be some kind of magical situation to what's going on here, because one of the witches actually calls to them and tells them that they need to essentially unite like the seven, and that they need to find the seven people who are connected to this. And we still don't know what that means. Nobody in the story knows what that means yet, but we get more of the story kind of teasing a little bit more of that. And I'm really excited because this issue just opened this world up in so many new layers. I cannot wait to see what happens in that next issue. Plus, we do get to find out what happened with Jason in this issue, and there's a lot going on in this book. Every time you get a new issue, it's like, whoa, I had no idea that you could put that much more into the story, but you did. We've got issue 3 of Behemoth from Dark Horse. This has been a pick for Santiago Saturday, and it's just like a fan favorite because, of course, we love our kaiju stories here at Bat City. But if you haven't read it yet, basically there is a giant kaiju attack on a city. I believe it is actually just New York, but there is a giant kaiju attack on the city, and everybody is trying to run away and get to safety, except for one girl who is running towards where she's left her food truck to get repaired because it's all she has left of her memory of her time with her dad, and it's kind of all her money has gone into it, and she's determined to get to it. And in the process of doing that, she ends up stuck on a bus with a bunch of people to get away from the floods that are coming in from the kaiju, like making landfall, only for that bus to get swallowed by the kaiju. All of this is in the very early part of issue 1, and so these people are stuck inside of the belly of the beast, literally. And in this issue, they have been saved, or in the last issue, I guess they were saved by this mysterious guy who said he's been living in there since like the last landfall. And you just can't trust a person who lives inside of a kaiju belly. I'm just saying, there's so much, but there's monsters in here, there's flooding in here, there's people you can't trust that I'm not going to show you any of the back half of this. And now, of course, everybody knows when a kaiju attacks, you've got, like, the people are like, oh, we have to stop the kaiju. And so now the attacks on the kaiju on the outside are getting, like, bigger and bolder, and the opportunity to survive, like, even inside the kaiju might be gone. So, it is going to be an intense issue 4. If you are not reading this, seriously, just go to a comic book store and grab the first 3 issues and add it to your pull list, because if you like any kind of kaiju anything, this is a must read for sure. Jump Scare, issue 2, also from Dark Horse. This is all about a girl who had an experience that basically gave her some superpowers, but unlike most superpowered people and comics that we read, she didn't go in a normal direction. She did kind of become a vigilante, but only for, she's not like really like out there trying to superhero. But the cool thing about her power is that she is able to call on the weapon from any like low budget horror film that she loves. And so if she's like, oh, I really liked this horror film, and she remembers the weapons from it, she can call on it and use it in battle, and it kind of like appears like Green Lantern style, essentially. I was trying to see if I could find, like, you can see like it's coming to life like bloody guts down here. And so she's constantly taking out like local bad guys and stuff. Well, in issue 1, she found out that her sister, who doesn't talk to her any more than her parents do because they're super religious people who hate that she like is kind of a goth alt girl who now has superhero powers of horror movies and kills people, and so they've all just disowned her. But now the sister's been kidnapped, and they're like, well, you have to save your sister because you can. And she's convenient, isn't it? You guys hate me and you think that there's nothing good about me and that I'm like the devil and that's terrible, but now you need me and here you are calling me. And she's like, well, too bad, I'm not gonna help you. Like, I don't have to. I don't owe you anything. You guys disowned me, so figure it out yourselves. And she kind of just goes back to living her life and dealing with the problems that she has. But of course, nagging, you know, she's gonna end up helping. But even her sister's like, she's never gonna come. And so we're gonna see, you know, we're gonna find out if she does in fact go to help them. But it's just really cool to see somebody with a completely different power in this. You know, we see a lot of superhero books, but like combining that superhero and horror that we see both of so much of in comics and kind of giving a hero a horrific power. It's pretty cool. We've got the return of Adventure Time. Oni Press has gained the rights to Adventure Time, and they are bringing it back for you. I am going to make a very strong confession to you, internet. Please don't judge me. I have never seen Adventure Time. So I did my research today because I read this book and I was like, I feel like I don't know what's happening, but I can't tell if it's an I don't know what's happening because I haven't seen Adventure Time, or if it's an I don't know what's happening because it's an issue 1 and we're going on a new adventure. And so I had somebody who is an Adventure Time fan who literally could recite all of the lore over and over if they needed to, I'm sure. But like knew so many details and like in order and everything. So I was like, here, read this and tell me, like, where do I need to go? And so apparently there is a lot of fun fan service in this. If you are a fan of Adventure Time, there's a lot of callbacks to the show. However, it does not pick up where the show ended. So there's like, we're kind of in this, like, according to them, we're in like a timeline that maybe just like an alternate timeline, maybe one of the alternate universes of Adventure Time. But we are following along as Finn and Jake go on a new adventure. They have been asked by Computer Princess to help her with a problem that they need to solve, and she's asked them to go out and get this book. And of course, Finn just immediately agrees without learning any of the details, including where the book was, which apparently she could have given them those directions, but he was too busy gushing over Computer Princess to actually wait. So this is the setup of this new adventure. I was told that there's also like a new show coming and things like that. So this is kind of to get you excited for that. The other thing is to let you know is that since Oni Press has the rights to this, they are actually going to be re-releasing different compendiums and stuff now. So if you are like, oh, I loved Adventure Time, but I like got rid of all of my old Adventure Time books, or you're like, I don't still have I never got the Adventure Time comics, but I want to jump in, they are going to be re-releasing all of the different volumes and stuff, and you can find some compendium 1 and 2 are actually out now. Compendium 3 comes out in December. Fiona and Cake's compendium is also out now, and then there's going to be like a compact comic edition coming in September. So keep your eyes out for those of you who need to collect all of the things. The coolest thing to me about the new Adventure Time is that there was a Carolyn Cash 1 in 20, which is awesome that you got Carolyn Cash on it. And I'm so excited to report that was the very first cover that somebody asked me about if they could get. So go Carolyn Cash, Eisner winner of some really amazing pee poo poo comics. All right, we've got 2 books that are coming back this week, and honestly, you could interchange them as my pick of the week because I'm so excited they're both back. But we're going to talk about Golden Rage Volume 2 right here. If you didn't read Volume 1 of Golden Rage, yes, you do have to. You do need to go back and get the first arc. But this is essentially a world where women have been deemed invaluable, they're like just completely like not worth anything. Like I'm like, that's not even low enough for how they treat them. They're like not worth anything once they can no longer have kids. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're old. It just means like maybe you can't have children. And so they have all been kind of like, they started rounding up women and things. And so this story is all about some women who live on an island and who are kind of like, hey, we're gonna take people out. We're gonna go after them if they ever come for us. But they've just been trying to like live in peace on this island, and it's essentially the Golden Girls. And they've kind of mixed their names up and changed it, of course, but you can tell 100% like which girl is which Golden Girl. And they are the ones who are coming together to kind of lead this island of women who need to kind of take back their lives and maybe possibly fight the mainlanders who are complete and total jerks and have ousted all women who can't have children. It's such a good story. Again, go back and read volume 1. It's an entirely female creative team, which is really cool. It's people who obviously really, really loved the Golden Girls making it. You don't have to know anything about that, though, to read this book, because it's not actually the Golden Girls. You're just going to get a really great story of women dealing with women's rights in a world that hates them, which is a complete and total fantasy thing that we could never imagine. And so it's a really great book. Grab that first volume and jump in, like grab volume 1 and this first issue, because it's really great. And I love it because every issue ends with a Golden Girls quote on the back. And so this is one from Sophia that says, "Every year without a headstone is a milestone," which is great lead-in for what is happening in this issue, where we see the outside world coming towards them, and a very, very big reveal that I don't want to tell you anything about, which is why I just rambled about the book for the most part. But there's a lot going on, and leadership is being challenged, and we find out why certain leaders have been dealing with the outside world and the borders and the people coming towards them in this issue. All right, and lastly, I'm going to take a drink of wine before I do this. Lastly, I'm about to tell you my pick of the week. I told you there was only a dozen books this week, so you only get one pick, because really you should just go buy all 12 books at your store. I was like, this is getting pepperier, isn't it? Yeah, I saw your face, Matt, and I was like, this is going to be very peppery, and I'm so in. It's so good. I'm so excited that it's going to taste so good with meat and cheese. They didn't lie to you. They were serious when they said that. All right. The pick of the week this week is the return of the Great British Bump Off. This is Quilter Be Killed, or Killer Bee Quilts. I know I was going to get it backwards. This is issue 1 from Dark Horse. I'm going to say the opposite of what I said with Golden Rage. You do not have to read volume 1. This is like picking up an Agatha Christie book. It's cool if you read the other ones because you kind of already know who your detective is. But if you don't read volume 1, you're not going to be lost. So this is about a girl named Shauna, who is, she's kind of just that like millennial girl who really just wants to be cool and, travel the world and have fun. And she does not in any way, shape, or form ever have her life together. And she's like, I got this. And I guess really she's probably not even a millennial. She's probably like Gen Z at this point, because I think she's in her mid-20s. I don't know. She's somewhere in there. And so she's very excited because in this series, she's actually going to go out on her uncle's boat. She borrowed it so that she can spend the summer sailing and adventuring and taking in the world. And on her very first outing, she did acknowledge that she didn't know how to tie knots before she left. And on her very first outing, the boat comes loose and gets severely damaged, scraping alongside the canal that she's parked it in. And now she can no longer go on her trip because she has to work to pay off the damages that have happened to her uncle's boat. But lucky for her, she met a boy that she finds extremely cute who happens to have a mom who owns a quilting store and has offered her a job for the summer to work off the money. So she is going to go work in this quilt store to try to do just that. Of course, she knows absolutely nothing about quilting, and she looks exactly like how I feel I would look if I went into a quilting store, where I would be like, oh my god, everything in here is so awesome, and also I knew no idea what any of this is like, but it looks really cool and I want to play with all of it. Meanwhile, of course, we have to have some kind of murder mystery situation happening, and little tiny clues of something that may be coming our way are revealed towards the end of the issue to set up some of that. But we've met all of the players in the game essentially at this point, and I'm just going to be honest, as somebody reading through all of Agatha Christie's books right now, I don't trust anybody at all in any story ever again. And so every time she meets somebody, I'm like, they did it. I don't even know what it is yet. We don't even have a crime, but I'm like, that's them. They're responsible. Whatever it is, they're the ones. And then you meet the next person. I'm like, okay, maybe it's them. And then I'm like, maybe I should wait until I figure out what the crime is before I start trying to piece it all together. But this book has such great writing that you love the characters. You love having that, like, oh my gosh, like, I want to figure it out. If you watch the Knives Out movie, again, if you've seen things like Death on the Nile, if you jump into any of those just like whodunit kind of situations, this is classic whodunit, with a great load of comedy, which is very much like the Knives Out series. And I mean, let's be honest, it's April. I'm going to put it out there right now. She's probably going to be on the list of characters in a comic book I want to be friends with, because I can do that on the Batastic Awards this year because this book started in April. So get ready. It's probably going to happen. Absolutely check this out. If you can check out Volume 1 too, it's great because the Great British Bump Off of it all is that it actually takes place during like the Great British Bake Off. Again, most fun you're going to have at the comic book store in the whodunit market for sure. All right, there's a couple other books in stock. I'm not going to tell you all about them, but I am going to tell you they exist so you know to run to your store and get them. We had the end of Creature Commandos from DC, so if you watch the show, you need to get your companion comic to go with that. Fire and Ice came back with When Hell Freezes Over. This is the DC Fire and Ice, not the Conan universe kind of Fire and Ice. Power Rangers Prime, issue 5 out this week. We had Absolute Batman issue 7 with that first appearance of Absolute Mr. Freeze. You definitely want to grab this. Alien Paradiso issue 5, which I believe is the wrap-up of that, is out. Aquaman hit issue 4. I love this cover so much with the random starfish on him. Batman and Robin issue 20. Daredevil also hit issue 20, and this week he has one of the wraparound variants. These are actually done by Christy Zulo's husband. So he has a name, actually, but if you guys are Christy Zulo, I know so many people come in and they're like, I'm a huge Christy Zulo fan. Well, her husband also makes art, and this is some of it, so you got to check it out. And he's doing a whole line for all of the DC characters or Marvel characters right now. Doctor Strange of Asgard issue 2 came out. That's issue 1, so ignore that. Green Lantern issue 21. We had the Incredible Hulk 24, also with one of those awesome wraparound covers. So you got to check that out. We've got Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider issue 12, Star Wars Jedi Knights issue 2, Action Comics issue 1095. Laura Kinney Wolverine hit issue 5 this week. And I love, look at this David Mack Uncanny X-Men issue 13 Gambit cover. Man, that's sweet looking. We also have a couple of graphic novels in stock. I Ate the Whole World to Find You. Looks fantastic. This is a coworker turned prospective lover confesses a hard to swallow fetish. A train ride fantastically goes off the rails as old habits get dragged across the tracks. We've got, you know, some trauma. We've got some treasures. We've got some really big, stunning realism and lavish imaginations, and some really great art. I love that we have these really cool spreads right here, but also like there's some more like realistic looking moments and stuff too. So you get kind of like some different, like all kinds of different art styles in that story, but it's going to be a really great read. You'll definitely want to check out. We also got Squeak, Chatter, and Bark. This is an eco mystery. This is about an 11-year-old whose scientist parents mysteriously vanish, and they have to use the biodome that they live in and all of the animals to kind of guide them through this whodunit situation. And I cannot wait to read this. And again, I really love like the use of colors and everything that happens in this book. So definitely check that one out. Even though it's an 11-year-old protagonist, it is a Fantagraphics book, so it's probably not going to be like kid-oriented and more adult-oriented. Spawn had two titles come out this week. We've got the Violator book. This is Violator, the 1994 collection, which contains the sold-out 3-part miniseries. And then we also have Spawn. This is Spawn Godslayer, which is a collection of Spawn Godslayer, including the one-shot and the 8 issues brought to life by the creative team that worked on it originally. But this is old gods dying, Spawn, craziness, God Spawn, essentially. And then lastly, we've got Patra coming at you. This is issues 1 through 4 of Patra. I can't wait to see more from this story. But this is a young girl who wakes up with no memory of what happened in her past, and suddenly a horrific mask and a big giant knife appear, and she finds out that she's kind of in a slasher movie, except it's her life, and she's not really sure what's going on, but she definitely needs to figure it out quickly before something terrible happens, and seriously, can't wait for a volume 2 of that. All right. I told you we were going to do that fast. We're done. That's all the books that are out this week. So remember, you've got some things going on. I didn't mention it the first time, but Wednesday is Manga Meetup. Thursday is Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night at 8 o'clock. Saturday is Academic Avengers X Superman Day. So it's supersized Academic Avengers. Come out, celebrate Superman Day, get some free Superman comics, play some games, have some fun, win some prizes. It's going to be a blast. That's 12 to 4 on Saturday. Closed on Sunday for Easter, and then a whole bunch of stuff like our educator seminar and reception coming up for you on the 24th, and of course, free comic book day on May 3rd. Lots going on. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook so you can find those events. And until then, all those events happen, we'll at least be here for New Comic Book Day on Wednesday. Lots of new books, hopefully more than a dozen. We're going to be hanging out here until we see you. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.